Yassine, thank you for joining me. Thank you for making the trip over from Fort Lauderdale. How's everything going?
All right, man. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, of course.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Awesome. Well, you and I got connected through Sarah at White Orchid Insights. And so shout out to Sarah for getting us connected.
Thanks, Sarah.
But you are with Jet Luxe, right? Tell us a little bit, maybe we could get started with a little bit of an intro to yourself. And then we definitely want to dive into Jet Luxe as a company and what you guys are doing.
Absolutely. Yeah. Shout out to Sarah. Thank you very much for arranging this podcast.
Yep.
It's a pleasure to be here, Greg. I've been an avid fan of your podcast over the last few months since I found out about it through Sarah. So yeah, thanks, Sarah. My name is Yassine Moussi. I'm the Vice President of Jet Luxe in the United States. I speak 4 languages.
Okay.
I've lived all over the world. In my early and late teens, I grew up and graduated high school in Casablanca, Morocco, which was a really interesting experience.
Okay.
And I moved to Oregon for my graduate studies.
Okay.
And that was in my early 20s. In my mid-20s, I moved to New York to start my aviation career. I grew a passion in aviation after a buddy of mine, Adam, called me and said, "Hey, you're good at sales." I was business oriented at the time. And he said, "Hey, my dad just bought this charter brokerage company in New York. Do you want to be involved? We have a sales manager position." So I had no idea what I was doing. And I just stepped into this company and it felt like, one of those suits that you're trying on that just fits perfectly. That's how the role felt, because I really loved selling. And then, I'm selling private jets at 24 years old. So I was really excited about the opportunity. I did that for a couple of years and then moved to the Middle East in Dubai. Worked for a flight support company, one of the big flight support companies in the Middle East. Spent a few years with them, had the opportunity to be involved in FBO, so handling, and international trip planning, selling fuel, charters, operating aircraft. Did some business with Jet Smarter at the time, ran some projects for them on a Legacy 600. Worked with diplomatic flights, got to be involved in the really interesting head of state and royal family flights, which have been an amazing learning curve. After my experience in Dubai, I moved to East Africa to be the general manager of a private airline there that served the governments in the region. And then I moved back to the US about a year ago.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why I had the opportunity to be part of Jet Luxe, and very excited to be here.
Cool. I know the first time we had talked, you were actually on a quick trip to Morocco, which turned into a much longer trip.
Freaking COVID, man.
Yeah. Tell us about that.
So late last year, I was supposed to fly from the US to Dubai to meet a lot of our new team members at Jet Luxe and to be part of Dubai Air Show, which is a great event that takes place every other year in the Middle East, in Dubai. And my wife and I decided to drop off my daughter in Morocco to spend some time with the family.
Yeah.
And then we flew off to to Dubai. And then on our way back, literally like a day after we arrived, borders closed because of this new COVID variant that at the time was exponentially spreading. So we were stuck there I was supposed to be there for a couple of days, stuck there for 6 weeks. So it was a mandatory vacation / spending time with the family. It was a good opportunity to brush up on my contacts there and my network, family. So it happened for a reason. So.
Sure. And so now you're back, getting started at Jet Luxe. And I know that you guys have a lot of plans for expansion in the US, which, definitely want to hear about that. But maybe you could talk to us a little bit about Jet Luxe, kind of where it was started. I know that you've been growing, pretty quickly, and then maybe we could talk a little bit about, what your plans are for the US.
Of course. So Jet Luxe was founded a little over 3 years ago by Gabriel Madrid, our CEO, which also has been a great friend and mentor to me for many years. We've worked together since 2016. And he reached out to me a little over a year ago and said, "Hey, man, I'm on this really great project. There's a lot of things going on. I would love for you to be part of it." I'm like, "Man, I'm in.
Sign me up.
Sign me up immediately." He's somebody I have tremendous respect for.
Okay.
Not only has he been a mentor, but he's pretty much taught me almost everything I know in business aviation.
Okay.
He has supported me, encouraged me, been there in my darkest and best days. So shout out to Gabrielle for all the great work you're doing, all the development that you are bringing forth to Jet Luxe, all the passion that he's teaching these aviation professionals that work with us. So yeah, very thankful for this opportunity. Jet Luxe was founded 3 years ago, and started from a three-person operation to now over 50 employees and representatives worldwide.
Okay.
Locations in Dubai, where our headquarters are, Hong Kong, London, Miami, Mexico, and then we're growing. We also have some representation in Colombia, Argentina. We have part of our concierge people based. So yeah, it's an interesting growth, I should say, because of the tremendous amount of growth that we've seen. Every other month, there's something happening in the company, something new hire, new projects,
Sure.
new announcements. So I'm very excited to be part of this team.
Yeah, it sounds, I'm always, it's always really cool to see companies really like, it's obviously a relatively new company in the sense of, in business aviation, but to see all of these cool new things that you guys are attacking and tackling is really cool. So it sounds like it's an awesome group to be a part of.
It is. We do feel like it's a family that we're part of and that we're growing every day. We have great relationships with each other, from people that are in Dubai to people that are in Mexico. We do our best to communicate as much as possible, create relationships and rapport with each other. I think that's key to success, is working together as a family versus colleagues.
Sure.
We've seen a big trend of people just giving assistance to each other when there's that open line of communication and that friendship created, versus just being colleagues and just sending each other emails or messages over the phone and the computer.
A lot can get accomplished with that type of culture and that type of communication.
That's what we're all about. Yeah. It's in our DNA.
Cool. And so tell me a little bit about kind of what are the core capabilities or services that Jet Luxe offers?
The core capabilities and services that we offer they range from aircraft management to charter services, to our Invictus program, which is a program that Mr. Madrid has created late last year to satisfy a lot of the demand that we're having today in terms of charters and potential aircraft owners that are not finding their aircraft or are just not ready to purchase yet. And we also specialize in selling, handling, fuel, pretty much anything that's business aviation related, we do.
Okay. And so, as I know that you guys have had success internationally, so Middle East, Asia, Europe, talk to me a little bit about your approach for, North America. How does that look? And, you being in this particular role, where are you seeing the opportunities to really grow the business here?
Well, it was an interesting time to approach the U.S. marketplace, because demand has never been so high. And we've had a tremendous success during our first quarter of implementation. We've seen immediate sales starting at $500,000 a month and then growing thereafter.
Awesome.
Which was amazing for us as an opportunistic company in penetrating the U.S. market. We've noticed that there's a trend in the market that a lot of demand and not enough supply. And we want to capitalize on that and be able to provide more supply to the marketplace, and also bring in what we've learned from Middle East business aviation and apply it here in the US. I've noticed that a lot of charter operators here in the United States operate as air taxi more so than operate as a luxury services. So we want to implement and bring in a new trend to the market where we do air transportation, but at the same time, we focus more on the luxury side. We want to make it special for our customers. I know that a lot of people are moving from the commercial aviation to start flying private due to lack of commercial aircraft availability, specific schedules during times there are travel requirements. We've also noticed that there's just a lot of people that want to fly private now.
Right.
It's become a trend with social media, and I think it's a way for people to work on self-improvement as well, to become more ambitious. Once you fly private once, you never want to fly commercial, right? So I think, and I want to promote that side of the business aviation to our customers, our new flyers that have never flown private before, that are now tasting the pleasure of flying private. And I want them to have a great experience doing that. And that's how we want to impact the market today. So we want to bring aircraft, we want to bring availability to the marketplace, satisfy a lot of our broker requests that are coming in that we currently aren't able to satisfy due to a lack of availability, and we want to do it in a luxury way.
Sure. Yeah. And I've seen, in the past that you guys have set up, partnerships with other, whether it's like hotels or other types of transportation, things like that. Is that a way to really create like I'll say a more holistic experience for your customers?
Absolutely. So these partnerships are important because it enables us to select who we want to work with to satisfy our customers' requests. When you're running an operation worldwide, it is important for you to know who your suppliers are all around the world. And these partnerships enable us to develop these relationships to put in place specific requirements that our company imposes to our vendors to be able to match the service level that we want to offer our clients. So this is why it's important for us to keep doing these partnerships and to keep communicating about it so we can explain and express to our customers that we're working hard on the service level and not just trying to sell them services, but there's a lot of work in the back end. We actually have an amazing concierge department led by Camilla. Shout out Camilla. She's doing a great job at running that department. That takes care of all of our post-flight requirements. So anytime one of our salespeople sells a flight, our concierge department steps in and takes over the flight to ensure high-quality service moving forward. And that concierge department handles anything from hotel reservations to ground transportation, dinner booking, yacht bookings, whatever the client needs. They take care of. So it's important for us to have the proper partnerships to be able to provide that kind of service and ensure the service quality is high.
Sure. And just kind of like backing up to a more personal question around yourself, as somebody who got into business aviation at a relatively young age, what's been your approach, and how do you have kind of like a recipe for how you've approached becoming successful in sales and business development in this space?
That's an interesting question, because every time I hire a new salesperson, I go through the same approach. What are your plans to be able to be a successful salesperson when you are joining the operation? And I found in my career that there's two key points that you have to make sure to have when you're trying to be successful at becoming a salesperson or a business aviator. It's transparency. Always be honest. Always say things as they are. I know it's a very high stress industry, and we can be put in situations where stress can take over or have an influence on the decisions that you make while running the operation. So transparency is key, and building rapport is also very important. Every client that I've onboarded has worked with me for me and not for the hat that I'm wearing. It's a trust relationship. It's working on the rapport between you and your client and making sure that your client trusts you and that you trust your client to be able to fulfill what is expected of you.
Sure. Yeah, I know it's obviously a very complex set of services that you're selling, right? Because it's not just, hey, can you go from point A to point B?
I know from the outside, it seems really simple, right. But yeah, definitely.
And even with that, going from point A to point B isn't always the simplest thing, right? No. Because there's all there, based on the type of aircraft, fuel capacity, time of year, all these things really
weather, COVID,
COVID, right? So it adds a lot of complexity to that. And so, as you're going out and this is a very competitive space, right? There's a lot of players in the area. They probably have, I know some companies have kind of little niches that they work in. How do you approach, new customers and really try and tell them what's the difference between, what they're maybe using today or the services that they can get with JetLuxe?
Well, I think innovation plays a big role in that. So every company has to continue to be innovative. And with the market changing as it is, for example, let's take 5 years ago, we never understood the impact that cryptocurrency could have on the charter market. And today it's real. I'm getting requests from a lot of clients, hey, can I pay in crypto? Can I do that? And we're seeing this metaverse trend that Mark Zuckerberg has just promoted recently, and that has exploded in interest worldwide. So we want to be involved in that. One of our aircraft is actually going to be scanned and put in the metaverse very soon. Shout out to Sarah and Nicole for that, because we're excited to see that. So we're going to be able to showcase our aircraft in the metaverse, which is going to put us a step ahead of our competition. So there's a lot of new clients that are now, or new flyers and jets that are now starting to show, and we want to cater to those, and as well as the previous clients that have been in the market for a while and need a change, need something new, fresh blood to manage the aircraft. We are hungry for clients, we're hungry for satisfaction, and we are going to do everything possible to keep up with the market and grow with it as well.
Very cool. I had seen that there was some news around an MOU for a partnership with Empress Jets. And so tell me a little bit about that and how you're thinking NFTs kind of play a role in business aviation.
Yeah, I'm going to start by saying I'm not an expert in any of those. My business is jets. But I think we're working very hard to try to combine both worlds. I think that's the next step for business aviation. I remember when I started the industry, Avinode was still just a thing.
Right.
So when you're trying to source an aircraft, you had Air Charter Guide, you had your contacts, you're trying to get online to see who's available. Then Avinode came in, and that opened up the marketplace worldwide. So you could be sitting in Teterboro, New Jersey, and selling a flight out of Hong Kong thanks to that. So the software started developing, and then it just didn't develop after that. So today what we're noticing in the market is that crypto NFTs are becoming a thing today, and they're growing exponentially, and we want to be part of that growth. So with Empress Jets, who I was recently, Nicole Garcia, CEO of Empress Jets, I was recently introduced to her early this year by a friend, Ashley. And then she was passionate about the subject. She told me, oh, listen, they're going to incorporate private jets, business aviation, and NFTs, smart contracts, cryptocurrency. And I'm looking at her and I'm like, I see the passion, but I don't get it. So we spent a lot of time discussing it, a lot of meetings, a lot of phone calls. Understanding. Sarah was heavily involved in that as well. So we have recently decided to partner up with Empress Jets and start a charter operator marketplace through a crypto blockchain. So pretty much having smart contracts available, immediate payment systems to our clients so people can sign off on contracts, buy flights, or bid on flights worldwide through their blockchain system, which I'm very excited to launch. It's still a work in progress.
Sure.
We're working hard and trying to set this up, but I'm very excited to see where that's going to go.
No, it's really cool to see companies really looking at where technology is going, and truthfully, the past for business aviation as a whole, we've been, I'd say, a little bit behind the times in regards to the technology that's been available and the support and the infrastructure that's out there. But really in the last few years here, we're starting to see some big changes and companies looking at technology in, I think, a different angle, or in a different way. And where in the past it was more of more of just like, oh, it's a necessity to, record these things or use this for our workflow or whatever. But it's really transformed into a way to grow their business. And they're starting to look at technology from more of a revenue standpoint than just a administrative or a cost saving standpoint. So it's pretty cool to see news like that and companies like yours and Empress Jets working together to try and create something that's really new.
There's a lot of advantages in that. Whereas, for example, we've seen a big struggle for clients to be able to book flights on weekends or holidays when banks are not open. We're now taking credit cards to guarantee or hold flights, or charge credit cards for flights. Sometimes people don't have the balance available. Let's say you want to buy a $70,000 charter, and the client just doesn't have that balance as of right now. They're just on vacation. They just spent all their money. So it's interesting to open up new payment gateways for charter clients that also save them money on the long run, because there aren't those big credit card fees attached to those type of transactions. I know there's a bunch of different merchants, crypto merchants, that offer 0% fees or offer a 1% fee. And that's going to revolutionize the market. We want to be part of that innovation from the get-go so that we can pioneer and encourage more charter companies to do as we do.
Sure. Are there any other technologies or software out there that, as you're continuing to grow, you guys are really relying on, whether it's for managing customer relationships or handling that whole concierge side of your business? Are there things that you work with there that really help you?
Yeah, definitely. We are a great ambassador to Zoho Suite. Zoho has been a great tool for intercompany organization, communication. It's just a comprehensive suite of software that we use to be able to be properly organized, to be able to run a company worldwide using one system. We can all communicate through that system. There are some good aircraft management software like Flex, Centric, which have been great assets to us in terms of aircraft management. And there's also an interesting one, which is Portside, which is our client portal, to be able to understand and access every single statistic regarding their aircraft management. So like I started this cast discussing about transparency. That's in our DNA today. There's remote work with post-COVID influence on the world, and there's also transparency. We have a Portside portal to our clients that provides them with day-to-day updates on everything revolving around their aircraft, how many hours they have left on their account, what type of invoices they're being invoiced for the work. For example, our aircraft management clients, we post every single invoice to provide them the necessary transparency to be able to audit us on the go. And that's important. It keeps the company on check, and it keeps also the client alert and educated about what's going on their account, which I think is something that the industry has lacked over the last few years. So we are definitely promoting that internally and externally, and we encourage all of our clients to log in and check everything that's going on and communicate it to us if there's anything that they don't like, don't agree with. And like I said, transparency is key to success.
Sure. Yeah, I've heard we had talked about this a while ago, but I've heard some horror stories about, owners that go to management companies. They say, hey, take care of my aircraft. And I say, yeah, well, we got it, right? And the lack of transparency between the owner and the management company cost them like huge.
Sometimes millions.
Yeah, millions of dollars in some cases, because they didn't have that transparency. They couldn't see, where were they going for maintenance? All of the contracts and all of the maintenance programs on the aircraft. How they were actually operating the aircraft. These are all things that, if you're not paying attention to it, could cost you a significant amount of money. And I think in the past, because there hasn't been good technology to support that communication between management companies and owners, it left the opportunity for things like that to happen. And so it's really cool to see that, technology coming in place where you can easily communicate what's going on with the aircraft. The owners are kind of fully aware of what's happening. And I think it also, to me, I know that the industry's been very competitive on price. And so it kind of takes out some of that. And I think it goes to more of a place where, companies can be more competitive on the service and, what they can actually provide to customers. So it's pretty cool to see some of those advancements.
Yeah, we're happy to be part of it. We've actually noticed that our clients are trusting us more and more, the more information we provide them.
Sure.
Some clients don't care. Some clients don't look through it. But the fact that they have that available to them at any point, they can get in there and audit, their aircraft management company is pretty cool, because that puts their minds at ease. And whenever there's something that they doubt, they just go in there, check it out, pass it over to their financial advisor, and that's where communication starts going. So before we're explaining anything, they already have the explanation at hand. They're trying to find out more, which in turn educates the client a lot about business aviation. We've noticed that a lot of people that buy aircraft don't do their research. They're just interested about buying an aircraft. They don't understand what it is to manage an aircraft, which is at the same time an opportunity for aircraft management companies, but then also it puts the client at a disadvantage, which is why we have also put in place or developed our Invictus program to kind of step in and replace aircraft ownership or fractional ownership, and more like go into a program where you have more control over the cost, where you know exactly how much it's going to cost you to fly and how many hours you have per year. And then with the port side system, you have day-to-day updates, flight-to-flight updates about everything going on with your flight. You can book online, kind of like you're booking an Uber.
Sure.
And that's pretty cool to see in place and to live with the customer.
Sure. When was that launched?
That was launched in December last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
We've had a lot of success with it. A lot of people booking it, and a lot of
how is that different from maybe like a traditional fractional ownership or a jet card?
There are some major differences between our Invictus programs and fractional or jet card programs out there, where our goal is to have 4 partners per aircraft. So we'll go in the market, we'll purchase an ultra long range. We're currently managing Global 6000 aircraft. And then we'll have 4 partners in the same region. They're just buying ours instead of being owners of the aircraft and having to take care of all the cost of running the aircraft. All we do is we buy the aircraft, place it in the vicinity of the clients, and then they can fly up to minimum 150 hours per year each on the same tail number, same crew, same flight attendants, same body, and they take advantage of being an aircraft owner without having the financial responsibility and liability behind it.
Gotcha. And so in the case that they want to move into something else, you can then fill somebody else into their slot without actually selling their position.
That
in
is
the
correct.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Very interesting. So now you've been in this role for now a couple of months and starting to build up the presence here in the US. What are your plans for the rest of 2022? What's new and exciting coming down the road?
So what's new and exciting is we will very soon be able to take cryptocurrency payments for charter flights, which I know and feel confident that is going to revolutionize the market very soon.
Sure.
We are also excited to onboard more aircraft. We're actively seeking to acquire more planes through leasing or through aircraft ownership with owners. So we want to have a full suite of aircraft available to the market here in the US within the next year. So at least have a couple of lights, mid-jets, and heavy jets available to the market based out of Florida, but on a transient basis.
Gotcha. And how about hiring? Do you have any positions that are open today or later this year?
Every day.
Okay.
We're always seeking new talent. We always seeking new family members to join the team. We have sales positions available all around the US, Latin America as well. We're hiring from senior management to junior sales. So send me your CVs on LinkedIn. I'm happy to cater to that.
Very cool. Well, anything else you want to hit on while we're talking?
I think we've covered it.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right. Very cool. Well, I appreciate you stopping by. It was great to learn more about what you guys are doing and
Thank you for having me.
Plans for the future. Where can people find you if they need to if they want to learn more?
Well, I'm always available on LinkedIn. I answer all my messages on LinkedIn. Also can reach out to us at www.jetluxe.com.
Okay.
So feel free to reach out. At your service.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you stopping by, and we'll talk again.
Thanks, Greg.
All right.
Appreciate it.